Plants are really important for the planet and for all living things. Plants absorb carbon dioxide and release oxygen from their leaves, which humans and other animals need to breathe. Living things large to small need plants because they eat them and live in them. You are watching your favorite YouTube channel. In today's video we are going to talk about 10 surprising facts about the planet. Before moving forward, if you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button right now, so you won't miss any future videos we upload. Number 10. Our home is not a perfect sphere. Earth has been referred to as the blue marble, and is understood to be spherical in shape, but it isn't a perfect sphere. The Earth has a waistline in the form of a 0.3 bulge around the equator. This bulge is caused by centrifugal forces acting on the Earth as it rotates. Additionally, the planet's polar regions have flattened over time under the great sheets of ice that formed during the last ice age. As the polar ice caps melt, the Earth becomes more round, because these rock segments can spring back up as the weight is reduced. Number 9. The Pacific Basin is really big. The Pacific Ocean lies between the western coast of the Americas and the Asian and Australian continents to the west. It is also the largest ocean on the planet, covering more than 30% of its surface. For reference, all of Earth's continental land masses could fit inside the Pacific Basin with room to spare. It's also the deepest ocean, and is home to incredibly deep trenches, like the Challenger Deep and Mariana Trench. It's large enough to hold more than 75,000 volcanoes, and most of the world's islands. Plate tectonics shrinks the Pacific Ocean by about 1 inch every year. In turn, the Atlantic Ocean increases by the same amount each year. Number 8. The driest hot spot on Earth. A desert is defined as an area with minimal rainfall. As a result, the Antarctic desert takes the prize for the largest desert on Earth due to this definition. But the driest hot spot on Earth is the Atacama Desert. It sees less than 1 millimeter of precipitation each year. Some portions of the Atacama haven't seen any rain for half a millennium. What makes this place unique is its location. We usually think of deserts as far inland away from all water sources, but the Atacama Desert is in Chile and is a plateau that lives in a rain shadow. The Andes Mountains to the east wring out all the moisture from the coastal damp weather. The result is a unique environment that is no stranger to cloudy days, but water rarely, if ever, reaches the desolate landscape. One of the more spectacular events is when the arid area does get some rain, usually coinciding with El Nino. Number 7. Rocks can sail across valley floors. A rolling stone gathers no moss, or so the saying goes, but what about rocks that move on their own? This strange geological phenomenon has been observed in Nevada, and more famously, at Racetrack Playa in Death Valley National Park. These eerie paths speckle Racetrack Playa, and have been studied since the early 1900s. But it wasn't until relatively recently, in 2014, that time-lapse video footage helped solve the mystery. It's been hypothesized that ice and wind allow this process to occur. Large swaths of ice a few millimeters thick can form in these areas, and then break up during sunny mornings. These floating ice panels pair with wind and shove the rocks at speeds of 0.2 miles per hour. Number 6. The days are getting longer. If you wish you had more time in the day to get things done, just to be glad you didn't live on Earth 1.4 billion years ago. Back then, days were only 19 hours long. But how is that possible? It turns out that Earth's days are getting longer every year. Scientists discovered this by studying mollusks from the Cretaceous period. It was observed that these creatures' shells grow like tree rings, adding a bit each day. Close examination showed how much the shell grew by the hour. So, when the mollusk was alive 80 million years prior, the days were 23 hours and 30 minutes long. So, why is this happening? The short answer is that it's the moon's fault. The moon's gravity causes the tides we experience on Earth. This in turn is slowly decelerating Earth's rotation. It's imperceptible to us, though, at a rate of 1.8 milliseconds per century. We won't be around long enough to reap the benefits of a more extended day. Number 5. Earth's lowest point is inaccessible. Depending on how you define the lowest point on Earth, there are a few places that might take this mantle. Challenger Deep lies at the bottom of the Mariana Trench, 36,201 feet below sea level, but the lowest point on Earth that is not covered by water is somewhere else entirely deep under Antarctica's Denman Glacier exists, an impressive canyon. This canyon's bedrock lies 11,500 feet below sea level, while the Dead Sea often takes the lead on the lowest point. It's only the lowest point on dry land, at 1,419 feet below sea level. The canyon under the massive glacier is entirely inaccessible. Imaging shows us that this canyon exists, but it's unlikely that humans will ever lay eyes on this jaw-dropping area. Number 4. You are moving at breakneck speeds. Obviously, we don't experience the same G-forces that pilots and astronauts experience in their aerial adventures, but everyone on Earth is moving rapidly. Earth rotates on its axis to provide us with day-night cycles. When we talk about the rotation of the Earth, it's in relation to the planet's center. The planet's surface along the equator moves at a blistering 1,000 miles per hour. Additionally, the Earth moves around our Sun at a rate of 67,000 miles per hour, and our solar system moves at 490,000 miles per hour. It's hard to comprehend the speed at which the universe moves, thanks to the gravity that quite literally keeps us grounded in the constant speed of rotation. We don't feel the Earth spinning. Number 3. The planet's magnetic poles are not static. We know about the North Pole and the South Pole, but what about magnetic poles? The magnetic field that cocoons the Earth protects us from the solar wind's cosmic rays and particle radiation swirling in space. But this stoic gatekeeper for Earth isn't unchanging, because the forces that create the field are constantly in flux. So is the field. Every 300,000 years or so it shifts enough that magnetic north and south actually flip. It could make navigation difficult for those of us who navigate via compass, and animals like fish and birds with internal compasses. In fact, since the magnetic North Pole's location was precisely reported in 1831, it's drifted by more than 600 miles. If you're accustomed to reading maps, understanding declination takes into account the complexity and variability of the magnetic field any printed map offers. The magnetic declination for the year the map was made. Number 2. The world's longest mountain range is underwater. The Himalayas are touted as the most impressive mountain range on the planet, but that's probably only because we can easily see it. They do not hold the title of the longest mountain chain on Earth. In fact, no mountain range above land does. The award goes to the mid-ocean range, and it spans more than 40,000 miles around the globe. That's more than the circumference of the world itself. Nearly 90% of this mountain range lies under the ocean. It is formed by the same plate tectonics as its above-ground counterparts. You'll have to go to Iceland if you want to see the small portion of this range that rises above sea level because of the intense geological activity associated with creating mountain ranges. It also forms the largest single volcanic feature on Earth. Thousands of individual volcanoes line the mid-ocean range, and they do periodically erupt. Number 1. Gravity isn't always the same. Gravity is determined by the mass that a given material or object has. The heavier an object, the stronger the gravitational pull. Consider a mountain range. The rocky material is highly dense and has a high level of mass. Water, on the other hand, is a less dense material. Gravity will work differently on each of these bodies of material. As a result, Earth has an uneven gravity field. Major mountain ranges like the Andes and the Himalayas are areas on the planet with higher than normal gravity. Conversely, there are areas on Earth that are less dense and experience lower than normal gravity. Also changes on a small scale when considering the altitude. It makes sense when you think about space travel. Spaceships have to work against gravity. That's all for today's video. Tell us your views in the comment section, and if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video. See you in the next video. Until then, take care and best wishes.